the obstacle of sectarianism on the spiritual path. This morning's lesson is drawn from the 34th verse of Yong Jioshuan Jui's The Song of Enlightenment. Together, let's chant. He shook his Dharma thunder and beat his Dharma drum. He spread his clouds of compassion and showers of sweet dew. The trampling of elephants covered the world with moisture. Whatever the path or lineage, everyone woke up despite the folly of sectarianism. Hello, Hemant, good morning. Namaste. Sectarianism is a ham-handed overgeneralization that basically assumes universal success or failure due solely to association. They're a member of that group, therefore they must each be boneheads. They're a member of that group, they must each be a fucking genius. But the 14th Dalai Lama teaches us that each teacher is his own sect, which of course begs the question, how are we to know which teacher to rely upon and which teachings to implement? It's very simple. It's inconvenient, but it's simple. Here's how you do it. Approach a teacher, receive a technique. Apply that technique once every 12 hours for 7 consecutive days. The proof of the pudding is in the tasting. At the end of the 7 days, we experience less peace and less love and less joy that doesn't speak well to the teacher or the technique. If, however, after 7 days of twice daily practice, we have more peace and more love and more joy, then we're most likely moving in the right direction. That's the test of the practice. Not who's associated with it, not their pedigree, not their beauty, not their fame, not their wealth. It's whether or not it works for you when you apply it. Now, here's what separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls. If you can't be bothered to practice a technique for 5 minutes once every 12 hours for 7 consecutive days, then you know where you need to begin, on yourself. I look forward to meditating and chanting with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the techniques and teachings of many schools of Taoism and each school of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now, I got a question this morning from Hemant who writes, Lama, you had done a video on harnessing sexual energy. I hope you remember it. I tried searching for it, but I could not get the video. Please help. So it's simple. So we will explore that in a moment or two. Bear with me. Despite the whispers of elitists, mindfulness and meditation is the same. Although known by many names. Some call it Sati Passaddhi, some call it Proto-Zen, some call it Shan, some call it Dhyana, some call it Mahamudra, some call it Mahasandhi, some call it Ati Yoga, some call it Dzogchen, some call it Trekcho. It's the same thing. About a century before the advent of the Buddha, Lao Tzu dictated the 81 poems of the Tao Te Ching. In it, he mentions the three treasures, which some translators have explained as simplicity, patience, and compassion. After the advent of the Buddha, Ancestor Wu returned to the three treasures and said actually those three treasures were Jing, or form, Qi, or breath, and Shen, or mind. Now, how does that apply to the essential Mahamudra technique? What if our job was not to actively concentrate on anything, but to merely notice? What if we were simply to use our breath as a metronome, the way a musical student might listen to something in the background when rehearsing a piece of music? Using our Shen, our mind, during each phase of Qi, or breath, we could recite a phrase that would be directed at guiding the behavior of our Jing, or our body. So we can see that this basic technique is congruent with the ancients. Now let's flesh it out a bit. As we are breathing in, we can remind ourselves to sit in such a manner as to generate a vertical traction between our tush and our head. And Hemeth, this has a direct bearing on your sexual energy. During each exhalation, we can silently and mentally remind our body to relax as much as it can. Now, let's take this a step further. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord, we are wired not for active concentration, but instead to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, due to our parasympathetic nervous system ensconced within the lumbar region of our spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of the cervical region, we are wired for both physical relaxation and mental release. So for the first, let's dig in right now, and don't worry, Hemant, I won't leave you hanging. Some people get scared of their mental activity. Some people get scared that their brains have evolved to perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. Some people don't want their brains to do that. They want their brain to sit there like a paperweight. And when their brain refuses to do what they wanted to, they call it names like monkey mind. But that was not a problem that the Buddha warned against. The Buddha taught 7 enlightenment factors. The first one is mindfulness. Our job is to notice perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Even the horny ones. There is an old Zen saying, thinking, no thinking. Now, contrary to the ravings of stupid white people, that does not mean thinking about no thinking. Here's what it means. As we breathe in, we are wired to notice our thoughts, even our horny ones. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during the previous inhalation could feel less graspable. It could feel as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although is tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. So whatever desire cartwheels across your mind or your loins as you breathe in, notice how sharp it is. Notice how strong it is. As you breathe out and relax, notice how less sharp it is. Notice how less strong it is. As you breathe in, it will strengthen. As you breathe out, it will weaken. Observe the dance of momentary experience. Just as not every American is a football player, not every Indian is a Buddha. To think otherwise is racist and childish. There are two trainings we engage in, physical and mental. Ironically, the physical is more challenging than the mental. Teaching yourself to thrive in a seated posture is physical training. Start 5 minutes once every 12 hours. Do that every day for the first week. The second week, increase that to 10 minutes. The third week, increase that to 30 minutes. Progressing thusly, by the conclusion of the 12th week, your body could have mastered the art of sustainably and comfortably sitting in the meditation posture, which is pretty cool. But what about the mental training? Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live stream here on YouTube. Attend. When you have a question, type that question in the chat window. Don't wait till the end of the live stream. Type the question the moment it jumps into your brain. That's what we call striking while the iron is hot. If you cannot attend live, never fear. YouTube saves my live streams, or at least the live streams of this year and last year. So there's plenty of live streams for you to play with just this week alone. Working with these live streams twice daily, you can mentally master the Buddha's path rapidly, even in less than 12 weeks. Less than 12 days even. We switch gears now from the 3-syllable silent and mental recitations to their 1-syllable counterpart. As we breathe in, our mind can remind our body to sit tall. As we exhale, our mind can remember to ease, which is a monosyllabic synonym of relax. In the first passage of the Heart Sutra, we learned that the author of the text made peace with pain. Similarly, our job is not to choose what we feel, when we feel it, the intensity, or the duration. Au contraire, our job is simply to notice what we're experiencing as we breathe in, and to make peace with its presence or its absence as we breathe out. Hemant, the freedom you seek cannot be found on the path of being rigid or fearful or controlling or elitist or competitive or cryptic or cruel. If you try to control the depth or speed of your breathing, it will not benefit you. The freedom you seek is on the path of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. You don't get to choose your perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. You just get to passively experience them as you breathe in and viscerally release them as you relax into your exhalation. We're already wired to do these things. These things don't even occur in our brain. They occur in our autonomic nervous system, in our spinal cord. But the brain, it can be like a hyperactive child who, in the name of helping mother or father, kind of hinders them. So how do we keep the child of the supercomputer between our ears from getting underfoot? By giving it a simple task. As a child, my stepfather would have me hold the flashlight. You can have the child of the 3-pound supercomputer between your ears silently and mentally recite the adjective tall and then the verb ease. Our job is not to be rigid and controlling. Some days we'll have more physical stamina than other days. If we ignore our body's cries for rest, we will develop an aversion to the practice. So be good to your body. Listen to it. You won't do it perfectly at first. It's an acquired skill. But be vigorous when your body is vigorous. Ease up when your body needs a rest. Work with your body, and in a surprisingly short amount of time, you will master the path. Fight your body, and you never will. When you are at work, when you are at school, when you're with your friends, when you're at the market, when you are assailed by sexual drives, do not, rather than become their scheming slave or hating yourself, notice and release in harmony with your inhalation and your exhalation. Hemant. Humans have evolved to be sexual entities. If we were not, then we would not pass on our genetic material. Whether one engages in sex with a partner or one engages in sex by oneself, during the act of sex, one can still practice mindfulness and meditation. Perhaps you've noticed so many paintings and statues of Buddhas sitting or sporting in tantric union. Some people have little or no sexual drive. Some people have a lot. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. The presence or absence of a sexual drive is neither an indictment nor an acquittal. It simply is. The question is not how much you desire sex, but what you are going to do with the desire. When you use it as an object of mindfulness, it's beneficial. When you use it as an object of meditation, it's beneficial, as is anything else. Welcome to this morning's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Do not wait to the end, rather instead strike while the iron is hot. Hemeth wrote, "Can I get back the old video, Lama? It was made 3 years ago. I need it very badly." The older live streams were deleted. I gave you and the information I gave you now is sufficient. The question is, will you use the tools I've just placed in your hands, or will you toss them aside and seek for a better tool or a different tool? Hemant, allow me to set your mind at ease. You are not the only person who gets an idea in their head and then grabs that idea so tightly their knuckles turn white. We all have that impulse. So what I'm telling you is this. The same teacher who made a video many years ago is the same teacher who is giving you advice right here, right now. Do not throw this present moment away in the name of a dimming memory or a preconception. There will always be someone to tell you what to do. To have more sex or have less sex. To have more sexual desire or less sexual desire. To have more sexual partners or less sexual partners. And these people are happy to tell you what to do, and they're happy to take your money and happy to have you buy their services or their books or whatnot. But we are born alone, and we die alone, and within the confines of our skull, within the tent of our skin, we live alone. And so we are wired in such a way, thanks to There a piece of meat a few inches behind our forehead called the anterior cingulate gyrus. We're wired to be empathetic. If we live from a place of fear and greed in the basement of our brain, we're not going to be fulfilled. If we live from the place of empathy, we are more likely to be fulfilled. The question remains, how do we get there? By employing the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems in harmony with our inhalation and exhalation, that we might notice and relax, and call that mindfulness and meditation. That will help us to live in empathy. The highest empathy is spontaneous and uncontrived, and it is the fringe benefit not of concentration, but of mindfulness and meditation. When our choices and our utterances and our deeds flow from love's centered spontaneity, then our life is a dream. When they don't, it is more of a nightmare. As we go through life, with our amygdala, we can fight the present moment because we know what's best. Or, from our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy, we can flow with the present moment. Everybody's born, everybody dies. Those are absolutes. What we do with the time between is filtered by resistance or acquiescence. Seventh throat. I practiced it efficiently, your teaching. I got adjusted to the same practice. Is there any specific practice to specifically deal with my problem? Yes, I just described it to you. So drag the indicator bar to the left and re-listen to it. The first fold of the Eightfold Path is right view. That is elaborated upon in the Anapanasati Sutta, and we learn that simply by noticed change, we're training in right view. Some things come, some things stay, some things go. By being vulnerable to this as we breathe in, by relaxing as we breathe out, we're training our body and our mind in right view. Here is the path. Whatever comes, whatever perception, emotion, intention, thought, memory, or imagining comes, let it come. Whatever lingers, let it linger. Whatever goes, let it go. You would be correct in saying that is far easier said than done. Here's the secret. Every time we breathe in, we notice what's going on and our resistance to it. Whenever we exhale, we relax physically as best we can. And consequently, although we noticed during the previous in-breath, could feel less graspable. Those are the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The paths of mindfulness and meditation. To the sixth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is not effort, it's not discipline, it's joyful enthusiasm. The key to joyful enthusiasm is to meet your body's needs. Go to bed early, wake up early. Get plenty of fresh air, sunshine, exercise. Drink plenty of water. Eat a whole food, vegan diet. No milk, no cheese, no sugar. If you want something sweet, eat a mango. The more you meet your body's needs, the more peace you will feel within it. If you were still there, allow me to tell you a story. It is said that the Buddha was a man of flesh, blood, and bone. And that before he earned the nickname Buddha, he was known as Gautama or Siddhartha. The son of a king, he had every privilege and every pleasure. But eventually, he grew bored with those pleasures and sought a greater pleasure, a pleasure not of body, but of mind. There is a lie that if we get what we want, when we want it, for as long as we want it, we will be content. But that is a lie. We have two reward systems. The first one is dopamine oriented, and it will never be satisfied. It evolved to ensure the procreation of our species. And so it has a biological imperative to never be satiated. The second reward system is oxytocin oriented, and it rewards for fulfillment, for cultivating talents and using those talents selflessly for others. You can practice this path without renouncing laity. You can master this path without renouncing laity. You can benefit others with this path without renouncing laity. If your talents are in science, you can benefit others with science. If your talents are in the performing arts or in the arts, you can benefit people with those. You can benefit people with your talents and therein find at least a modicum of fulfillment. A month. When you feel particularly beat up by your sexual desires, you may want to switch from sitting meditation to brisk walking meditation. As you breathe in, instead of silently and mentally reciting sitting tall, you'll silently and mentally recite walking tall. As you exhale, you will silently and mentally recite relaxing. That will not make the sexual desires go away, but will help you to be less resistant to them, that they might pass through you and over you and around you. For like all things, they are fleeting. If you've just joined this live stream, welcome aboard. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please do not wait until the end, rather strike while the iron is hot. Right now, we can use our inhalation and our exhalation as a metronome. During our inhalation, we can use our mind to remind our body to sit tall. During our exhalation, we can use our mind to remind our body to relax. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. That's their job. Let's seal this morning's practice by chanting the Heart Sutra together. It is the Quan Chi Yin Pusa and archetype of love and letting go. while moving in the deep peace of the perfect understanding of awareness and release. Shed light on the 5 aggregates and found them equally empty. After this realization, she made peace with all pain. Listen, Shariputra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form does not differ from emptiness, emptiness does not differ from form. The same is true with feeling, appraisal, impulse, and awareness. Listen, Shariputra, phenomena are marked with emptiness. They are neither produced nor destroyed, neither corrupted nor purified, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no appraisal, no impulse and no awareness that once perceived cannot be released. No sensation, no flavor, no scent, no sound, no sight, no phenomena that once perceived cannot be released. No body, no tongue, no nose, no ears, no eyes, no mind that once perceived cannot be released. No feeling, no tasting, no smelling, no hearing, no seeing, no noticing that once perceived cannot be released. No interdependent origins and no extinction of them. From confusion to aging and death that once perceived cannot be released. No stress, no confusion, no liberation, no path, no understanding, no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. Because there is no attainment that once perceived cannot be released, the Bodhisattva archetypes of enlightenment supported. By the perfection of understanding, find no obstacles for the minds that once perceived cannot be released. Having no obstacles that once perceived cannot be released, they transcend the tyranny of fear, liberating themselves forever from the tyranny of illusion and realizing perfect nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future, thanks to this perfect understanding of noticing and releasing, arrive at full right and universal enlightenment. Therefore, one should know that this perfect understanding of noticing and releasing is like a great mantra, is like an unequaled mantra. The destroyer of the tyranny of all suffering, the incorruptible truth. A mantra prajnaparamita's perfect wisdom of awareness and release could therefore be proclaimed. This is the mantra gate gate pada samgate buddhi swaha. Go completely and perfectly go to enlightenment, may it be so. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.